think it won't happen to you? That's what every employer thinks until it does. So it happens all the time where I talk to a business owner who thinks that they've got some phenomenal company culture. Everybody gets along well, nobody argues, there's no workplace gossip, all that sort of stuff. Whenever somebody tells me that, if I'm on a phone call without a video, I am rolling my eyes so far back. Of course, nobody's coming to you and telling you that you're insufferable to work with or that your workplace is super toxic. How many times have you gone up to like random people in your professional life and said, I hate working with you, or my eyes bleed every time your name comes up in my Outlook inbox? Like it just doesn't happen because people just avoid conflict like that. Sure, you may not think that there's legal liability in not being liked. That might be true to some extent, right? It's not illegal to be a jerk, to be unreasonable, to be an annoying boss. None of that is illegal. The problem is the risk of actual legal liability and the risk of getting sued sometimes is exactly the same for businesses. A lot of businesses, especially smaller ones, are just as inconvenienced and struggle just as much having to go through a lawsuit and a legal claim as to losing one, right? Because even to win a lawsuit at the end of the day, take it all the way to a trial before a judge or a jury, you're gonna have to spend 6 figures in legal fees, costs, disruptions to your business, all that sort of stuff, even if you win. That sounds like a miserable experience to me. And the reason why this matters here is because in my experience, businesses don't get sued because they violated the law, although certainly that does happen. They get sued because an employee was pissed off, that when they got fired or they walked out of their job, they felt that they were treated unfairly for whatever reason it may be. Boss treated somebody else differently, everybody here's a jerk, everybody's out to get me, all that sort of stuff. And that's not necessarily illegal in and of itself, but that almost doesn't matter because it's still going to get you a demand letter and a lawsuit. Maybe you win it at the end of the day, but I'll tell you this, unless you've gotten all your paperwork perfectly done, it's so difficult to get rid of a lawsuit at the very early stages. On the contrary, most courts will allow a claim to proceed until somebody can prove otherwise, right? So all the while, you've done nothing wrong, but you're dragged through this long, expensive process that is just as draining as actually losing one. I always tell people that if they want to minimize risk from employees, from employment-related lawsuits, your best ways is to keep that employee happy, and 2, don't give them a reason or a want to go talk to a lawyer. Because a lot of individual employees, they don't know what the law is. I hear the word discrimination used every single day in contexts where it's actually not actual discrimination as it is under the law. But it gets people talking to a lawyer. And you know who can actually think of a claim? They can. Even if you have to bite your tongue a little bit, it's going to keep them from going off to a lawyer, which is very often what rolls off and screws you over.